Let's take a 25-year-old guy, maybe with a monthly expense of some 30,000, and maybe that guy is aspiring to get retired by age 50.
So this person would need a corpus of
Think about you as a CEO of your life.
Correct.
So if there is a CEO of a company, do you think the CEO will be rash and, hey, let's not plan for my company?
we can't skip this financial freedom conversation without going into the FIRE movement.
It's become a cult movement of sorts. A lot of people are living way below their means are, and they somehow want to frugally save every penny and get out.
This number will give you a goalpost, and that goalpost will give you a reality check.
After a point, you have enough money that the money will take care of you. You will not have to work for money anymore. This is doable. This can be worked out. It's all up to who you are and what you need in your life. Don't end up eventually super optimizing for wealth as a pillar a lot. You are missing out on health, on relationships, on happiness.
Sometimes the things that you never expect in life end up happening. And I think this week, I never expected FinNifty to be the first one to hit an all-time high after the recent market fall. And it has happened. All other sectors are still down in the red or still far down below. But I think there's a lot of positivity in the market. Market players being very enthusiastic with the recent bounce, and we know how it's doing, right?
Yeah, and I hope this Bank Nifty also follows to the similar path and continues to move up and outperform Nifty this time.
Now we were talking about unplanned things that happen around you, like FinNifty hitting an all-time high. On a similar note, I was looking to plan my life better, right? To plan a retirement corpus or to understand what could be the amount that I need when I retire, and if I can maybe even look at retiring even early.
So
right?
basically, you're planning your financial goals.
Yeah, financial freedom, as we term it, is a condition or a state of mind where you do not have to worry about money. Right? And you end up with a corpus that will help you live your life very comfortably. At least that's what I believe. So I was looking into this calculator, right? I decided to open this calculator and look into the number. But I was very astonished to see a number in crores. And that too, nearly 20 crores is the number that I saw on screen, which I will need by the time I retire if I want to live very happily, very effortlessly, and very satisfactorily. Right? So I think I was surprised, and that is what this video should be about. A wake-up call for a lot of investors or a lot of people here to understand what could be the amount that they need, let's say 10, 20, 30 years later when they retire and they want to live the same life.
I think the concept of financial freedom is really popular, at least among our audience. There have been enough influencers who peddled the term financial freedom a lot that it has looked in bad light as well. Now, there is a sense of worry when I go out in the public and talk a lot about financial freedom, because a lot of people have abused the word a lot, that it is slightly looked at in a bad light as well. But again, keeping that apart, I think even when a lot of these viewers, our viewers, they watch our videos and other videos, and they want to learn about investing because they really care about their personal financial life. They want to invest right. They want to build a portfolio and they want to grow their wealth. So what? Eventually they can achieve this.
Yeah.
This amazing term called financial freedom. That is the pursuit that everyone is in. But like you said, when you check the number, you were surprised by seeing a huge corpus that you'll have to build. Then there are a lot of like really stupid stuff that people do when they are planning out their journey. Again, I would also take slight blame in how we also go about our videos. But then, hey, a lot of other influencers also building wrong narratives. For example, when people try to understand to what extent they can build their corpus, they just randomly go out and put, hey, what rate can you grow your portfolio at? 17% for the next 25 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just does not work. So again, I'm just making the point that a lot of reality checks have to be done when we speak about financial freedom. Maybe let us try today to do it in the right way, to bring out the right things, to call out the bad stuff, and to actually understand what it really takes to achieve financial freedom. So yeah, looking forward.
Yeah, and that's where I would like to introduce the hosts of the show here today. So my name is Ajay Ajit. This is Nihal Bandapalli.
Hi.
And this is Sharik Shamsin, CEO and co-founder of MarketFeed.
Hi.
And we have the 19th episode of the Aftermarket Podcast here. So let's get started. What even is financial freedom?
Before speaking about financial freedom and before speaking about how to achieve that and what are the good things there, bad things there, there's a larger discussion saying that, hey, again, isn't this all bullshit? I mean, it is just one life that we have. Can't we just focus on our life, focus on being happiness rather than saving every penny, investing it in some complicated stuff, and then expecting that money to grow at a hypothetical rate, which will take care of you in the far end of your life? Isn't this a lot? Shouldn't you just rather focus on your life, have fun, and live a happy life?
Do you have an answer there?
I do have an answer, right? This is being discussed a lot. I mean, people do like who looks at all these things in a bad way. They call it out and say, "Hey, why are you super optimizing for it? Where life is supposed to be simple and focusing on." And what are your thoughts? I definitely have my points, but I want to hear what you think about it before getting into all the nitty-gritties. Because hey, if the objective is to achieve financial freedom, then let's first clear out the fact that why do we really need to work for it? And why is the other way of living, which is not optimizing for it, not great? I really want to talk about
So
that.
I feel if you do not plan for financial freedom, there could be a point where you're reliant on others. And for me personally, I'm not too keen on that, right? I know there are a lot of societal norms, especially in India, where you can depend on maybe your kids, maybe your extended family. But personally, I'm not too keen on that. So that's my call, right? That's my decision or my thought process on where I decided I should continue very strongly in this process of leading myself towards financial freedom.
Yeah, and me personally, I feel the financial freedom, when you start calculating, you have a number in your mind, right? You have a target, you have a pathway, then you start planning, right? Okay, this is a number, this is a place I want to reach, and then you plan your life. You are more disciplined, so you are more responsible. Okay, I get the word, I get the point that you only live once. You have to have fun in your life,
YOLO.
you have to enjoy and everything. But you can still be very disciplined, you can still be very responsible, you can still know how to optimize the amount of money that you are making and then spending, and still have the same, you can do both, in my opinion. So I would say have fun, but do it in a very responsible way where you're not a burden to anybody else.
Super.
And that gives you this thought process if you're thinking in this way.
I love that. I'll take the word planning from there. So I believe it's your job as whoever is you, the person who's running your life. The job is to plan.
Yeah.
And what do you plan for? To get not hit by bad stuff.
Yeah.
To be not in worst case scenarios. That is what you plan for.
And grow.
And grow as well, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the minimum thing you can do is to plan so that you are not fucked up.
Yeah.
So that is
Okay.
what you have to do, is what I believe. So again, one analogy I love to draw parallels here is that, hey, think about you as a CEO of your life.
Correct.
So if there is a CEO of a company, do you think the CEO will be rash and, hey, let's not plan for my company. If customers come, if people are there in my company, let them work, let them not work, whatever, let it just happen. Will he not plan for his company?
Definitely not.
As a CEO of your life, it is your responsibility to make sure that you plan your life well. Right. And when I'm saying, don't try to super optimize it for the very best outcome,
Yeah.
but at least do the minimum so that it is stayed protected and make sure it is on a good path in itself. And when I say you have to plan for your life, again, I'm not just doubling down on only finances, like everything else, and
Yeah.
how you go about it, how you conduct yourself, what are your moral values, ethical values, your career, skills, education, everything. Just like that, finance is just one part of it where there is a good, right way to go about it. So why not do that? You definitely have the responsibility, and that's my thought. So again, just summing the thoughts here. Yes, you need to have fun. YOLO and all of
Yeah.
thoughts I do respect. But again, while you have fun, you also have to make sure that you could have fun
Yeah.
throughout your life, or you would not be in deep trouble at some point of life.
Yeah.
And that is where the entire financial planning and being serious about it, and being serious about money, maybe saving it, investing it, everything comes from that thought of you being a responsible CEO of your life.
Yeah, and we can't skip this financial freedom conversation without going into the FIRE movement,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So the movement where a lot of people decide, hey, I want to be financially independent and retire early, often involves this concept that I live very frugally, I'll invest the most that I can,
Yeah.
and I'll not be trying to spend a lot, right? So this concept is what FIRE concept that we hear a lot in society nowadays is.
Yeah. So it's become a cult movement of sorts. A lot of people are living way below what their means are,
Yeah.
and they somehow want to frugally save every penny and get out. So this is a very cult-like movement, which I am not really happy of. I mean, this goes back to the discussion of, hey, someone looking at this can say, why are you having such a pathetic life at this point of time, so that you can retire early
Yeah.
at 40 and have some money and do what? I really don't know. So that I'm not I'm not a big fan of the FIRE movement as it is being discussed on social media and I see going around. But I still stand for financial freedom, which can be and should be, I believe, should be achieved at a good pace where life is not affected. You still have fun
Yeah.
in your life. You're happy in your life. You're satisfied at all points of life, where you're just systematically, practically planning your life so that after a point you have enough money that the money will take care of you. You will not have to work for money anymore.
Yeah, and I think, all of these confusions are coming down because either you overestimate or underestimate, or, you get overwhelmed by all these narratives that, one guy would be saying, like how you said, why should I, be very frugal? Let me live my life. Then there is other old school thought which comes and says that be frugal, save a lot of money, then, retire early.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of narratives that goes around, around this concept, and that is where, because they don't have a clear clarity. Okay, how much should I make according to my needs, my goals, my way of life, my morals, my ethics, my fun, considering everything. What is that magical number that I have to hit? How do I plan for it? What is that number that I have to hit? If you're not sure about that, that is where all these things goes for a toss, and that gets messed up.
Yeah. And this entire discussion, this entire thought process led me to the question, hey, where is the goalpost? Right? What should be that goal that I should even be aiming off to understand how much money I would need at that time, and to understand what is the money that I should be keeping aside every single month now. Because let's be real, a lot of us, we just invest money without a certain goal in mind or some short-term goals in mind. But we do not always think long-term and really understand, hey, how much money will be needed at that time. And even in the past multiple episodes, we had this ongoing conversation. How much should you be investing and where should you be investing? I think we'll be solving the how much to invest today.
Now that you mention it, I mean, this is something which is, I don't know, very evident, but very less people talk about it. Even we don't do a lot. You said about us talking about where to invest and how much to invest. But at the end, these are not the major metrics which matter.
Yeah.
The largest metric which matters is how long did you stay invested for. I know this is out of context, but again, just wanted to call it out. Whoever is listening should understand the fact that there's no merit in optimizing for where you're investing. Maybe some instrument giving 2% extra CAGR, 3% lesser CAGR doesn't really matter. What really matters is how long you stay invested for. The numbers are really bad as of today. Like Indian investors, retail investors especially, if you look at the average number of years they are invested in, it's very less. So anybody listening really wanting to build out their financial freedom path journey, think about staying invested. As long as you stay invested is where you'll reap the benefits.
And the thumb rule here to follow is a 25x thumb rule. So what does it say? Calculate your current annual expense and then multiply it by 25 times to reach a FIRE number, which tells you that you can live your life happily with the same standard of living, or in fact increasing it by one step, and never fear about running out of money and live a peaceful financial freedom life.
Yeah, so you can withdraw 4%. So there will be a corpus, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you said will become the corpus,
Correct.
which is a number, say your annual expense, multiply it by 25,
Yep.
adjust it for inflation. I know it's sounding very technical, but
Correct.
we'll make it very simple. We'll give you a calculator that everyone can try out.
Yeah.
So once you get that number and you adjust it for inflation, you, no matter if you keep withdrawing 4% of that corpus for your entire life, it will never run out.
Yeah. So
right?
just
This
to
is
give
the thumb
a
rule.
similar, a small example, let's say your corpus is 1 CR that you have, accumulated, and that is 25x, very random number. So 4% of it would be 4 lakhs, and you're withdrawing 4 lakhs every year, and you'll never run out of money.
So that is a concept. Now let's discuss some real examples. So I'll open up the calculator here. Now I'll ask Nihal first for give me an example, right? So I'll open up the calculator and show it to the audience also here. So the numbers that I want are, let's take an example.
Yeah.
What could be the current monthly expense of a person that you're thinking in mind?
So let us take a very practical real life example of let's say I'm 25, 26-year-old guy, right? So let us take that age itself. So let's take a 25-year-old guy, maybe with a monthly income of 30, monthly expense of some 30,000.
Okay.
And maybe that guy is aspiring to get retired by age 50.
So this guy who's spending 30,000 rupees per
Yeah.
month today at the age of 25,
Yeah.
wanting to retire 25 years later,
Yeah.
that is at 50.
Yeah.
And let's take an inflation rate of 8%.
Yeah, that
you
should
know,
be great.
that's the realistic inflation rate which is going ahead now.
Again, here we are quoting 8% because, government says 6-7%, but, actual inflation could be 8 to 9%. But again, there is also a narrative while, that your economy grows in next 20 years, right? We are talking about. So overall, the inflation comes down is what we believe. So 8% we are taking as an average.
So this person
Yeah.
would need a corpus of 6.16 crore rupees in the next 25 years to live comfortably for the rest of his life.
Absolutely. And I am pretty sure a guy earning 30,000, a guy earning, let's say, for some 50-60,000, let us assume, and his expenses are 30,000, would be maybe aspiring to like save once a year. And that he would be like, okay, I'm planning for once a year. Probably his investments are also aligned in that way. And, once he puts this number and sees this 6 year, which is 6 times of more is what he was expecting, that's like a very big shock. And that is what we are trying to educate here.
Yeah.
No, so again, I'll just add another layer there. So this guy wants to retire with
Yeah.
that 6 crore of corpus. Now, investing, how much money should be invested every month to reach
Exactly.
there?
So I'll tell you the good part here. Now you heard the worrying number, which is 6 crores.
Correct.
Yeah.
The good thing is this is 6 crores after 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he can invest a smaller amount today. I'll tell you what the amount is. He can use this opposite thing of inflation, which is compounding interest,
Yeah.
to his advantage, and he can make a small corpus or a small monthly investment into a large amount, right? So let's take, he's still young, you're
Yeah.
guys in the example. He would start investing at a slightly aggressive rate, but eventually that rate could go down and he'll eventually have to move all of his investments into debt. So I'm taking a conservative return of 11%.
Yeah. I know, Ajay, you have very casually, just very simply put out 11% there, but our viewers would be very disappointed. Why 11%?
Yeah.
But you have to
Because
give a
all other influencers teach them to put 18%.
Yeah, and
that
this-
is what should
Or
be
at
put.
least 15%.
Yeah, and
Mota
this-
moti.
16% though ho hi jayega.
Oh, yeah. And that
Yeah.
too for next 20 years, 30 years,
Yeah,
consistently.
consistently.
So you should give them a reality check. Why 11%?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, right? So this guy is 25 years old right now, and he's starting to invest. Maybe he'll invest into mid caps, small caps
Yeah.
aggressively, and he could make around 18%, 17%, 16%.
Yeah.
Right? But as he grows older in life, he'll have to become more conservative.
Yeah.
That is the reality. He can't keep investing in small caps for his life. He'll
As you
have
reach
to.
near your goals,
Yeah.
you
You'll
have,
have
to,
to-
reduce your equity exposure and you have to get more into debt.
Yes.
And when that happens, it kills your CAGR, XIRR returns or
Yeah.
CAGR returns. Early in the journey towards your goal, you would be having whatever is ROCE, 16, 18, 20%.
Yeah.
But as you reach towards the goal, debt keeps coming in and the CAGR amount that you see, which is happening on your portfolio, will keep on reducing. And eventually, 10, 11, 12% CAGR is what it would be for the entire journey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because
even in
even-
our earlier podcast, we've been mentioning this a lot, right? You making wealth and you compounding your wealth is just not enough. You holding it and preserving it at the time of need is also important. What is the point when you made enough money and then market crashes? So you have to get into debt eventually.
So we are being very conservative and taking a best case scenario of 11% for the long term. And this person would need 32,500 rupees per month as investments.
Yeah.
If he wants to reach the 6 crore corpus.
But again, here the fact that, like now I'm looking at the sheet and trying to understand the numbers. Here, the 25-year-old guy has to be, earning 62,000 rupees because
Minimum.
because he has to invest that 32,500 every month to reach 6 year while having his expenses sorted, which is 30,000.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I wanted to come in earlier, and that's where I just understood that we haven't talked about how much money the person has to invest.
Yeah.
Now, because Nihal raised a very important point that this is shocking to a lot of investors, knowing the fact that they have to, a person of this persona will have to earn 60,000 rupees, spend 30,000 rupees, and invest 30,000 rupees,
Yeah.
just approximating here. We are not keeping in mind all the other goals a
Yeah.
person
Exactly.
would normally have in their life.
Correct.
Financial freedom is just one goal.
Yeah.
Along the journey, there would be kids' education, kids' marriage. Maybe like these are conventional needs. Everyone might not have it. But again, there are multiple other goals a person could have.
Buy a car.
Buy a car.
Yeah.
Simple.
Buy a
house. Go on foreign travel.
Correct.
All of those are other goals you will have, and the uber larger goal is your financial freedom.
Yeah.
And if 30,000 per month is needed just alone for that financial freedom goal, you might need another 5,000 for your car, 10,000 for your house. So there will be other goals also for which you'll have to invest for. So just
Yeah.
calling out that
Yeah.
62,000 is just expenses plus the minimum investment you
Yeah.
have to do for your financial freedom. But then, hey, life is not ideal like that. There are a lot of other practical wants that a person would have in their life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the
so-
reality check here my guy should get is, okay, now I'm having 30,000 as expense, then I have to invest 32,000, and I have to at least earn 80 to 90,000 per month, which is in hand salary for me to like retire by my age 50 with
And
6 year
fulfill
close.
all your goals.
And fulfill all my goals.
So
And then let me add other points like you'll have to buy insurance,
Yeah.
which also comes with a cost. So
Correct.
again, you're right there. So 90,000, a lakh rupees is what you'll have to earn, so that post your insurance, post your investment for other goals which are other than financial freedom, then your investment towards financial freedom, then you spend 30,000, you're maybe sorted to some extent.
And speaking about all of this, there is an additional column that I forgot about, which is future value of inheritance or current investments. Because let's be real, there are a lot of people who would have something passing on from generations to generation, FD, gold, maybe even land that they might not want to sell, or investments that they've made on their own. And accidentally in that column, I've already filled in that the person, your
My
example,
25-year-old guy.
your 25-year-old guy already had an investment amount of 10 lakh rupees.
Oh,
Yeah.
10 lakhs.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I am removing that. If I remove that, the required investment per month became 44,900.
it went up
Wow.
from 32 to 45,000
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
now.
Now
Because
our
you're-
guy needs more than a lakh rupees of
Yeah,
salary.
now his minimum required income has shot up to 75,000 almost,
Yeah.
because he
plus
has
all the other stuff
That's
that
all.
we spoke
so
about.
now,
So yeah.
now what I said was 80 to 90,000. Now it just moved up to 1 lakh rupees a
Yeah.
month.
So what I mean, I understand this might be disheartening to a few,
Yeah.
or might be really motivating to others. So I feel that how we have to approach this is that either your monthly expenses are too high,
Yeah.
or your goal with which you're calculating your life is different, right? There's something wrong there. So this can be a reality check.
Yeah, it's an equation with a lot of variables, and these variables are highly subjective as to who you are,
Yeah.
in what style and fashion and luxury you want your life to be in, and in how much time you need it, how much money can you make in the journey. A lot of variables, and that is the beauty of life, right? So if you think about it, your entire life is all about this. It's up to you. It's in your control for you to design your life,
Yeah.
and to actually play it out as well, right? So you can decide when you want to retire and what kind of a life you have today you want to maintain after retirement. Again, not being repetitive here, but then I really love the fact that this is the beauty of life.
Correct.
So understanding this equation, playing it around, and actually winning at it, it gives a super amazing high, is what I believe.
So now we have taken an example of a very frugal guy, right? So monthly expense of 30,000, who's have to earn 1 lakh rupees. So it's like 30% of his income is going towards his expense, which is a very frugal way of living. Our, fire guy. But I'm really amazed. What if a person is actually living a lavish life? He's spending more. Probably, his monthly expense is much higher than this guy. Then how much should we even be saving it?
Yeah, let me do that. Let us take an example of a person who is at the age of nearly 35 and
Okay.
having monthly expenses of, say, nearly a lakh rupees. The person is slightly more mature, has a family, has kids going
Yeah.
to school. So, hey, let's say a lakh rupees a month is the expenses. What else? do you
When
need?
does he want to retire?
I'd say around 55, 20 more years of working.
Okay. And do you think that his post-retirement expenses could go down? Because this guy is living very lavishly. Do you think that after 55, his...
That I don't know if he's
Okay.
living lavishly or not. But I know the guy has 2 kids.
Yeah.
So kids' education is very costly now. So that is there. Probably that'll go away by the time he's
Yeah.
retiring. And then kids, it's not just education, right? Whatever they want, toys and all those discretionary spends. I know if they're traveling with kids, then those extra tickets and all of those.
Yeah.
So kids are going out of the equation, I believe, by 55, 60. So I would say expenses should go down drastically once someone with family is retiring and the kids go away.
Okay.
So maybe let's put a number of 40 to 50%.
Say 50% is
50%
reduction, yeah.
reduction in the expense by the time he retires.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he's more of a mature guy. He already has his kids. He has already been sorted for multiple years of his life. So let's assume he also has an investment of 10 lakh rupees that he's planning to grow at a separate income stream or a separate growth rate of 12%.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, the person would need a monthly required investment per month of 87,688 to
Oh.
hit his number, his corpus of 7 crore rupees.
That means he has to like now earn almost like around 2 lakhs in hand salary he has to have to achieve this financial freedom.
Yeah. And
No, just extrapolating what we discussed earlier. So that wouldn't suffice.
Yeah.
You would probably need 2.5 or even 3 lakh rupees
Yeah.
to cover everything for
Correct.
all the other goals as well.
And
Yeah.
let's do one
And-
thing. No, let's
and if-
remove this 10 lakh. Let us assume an edge case scenario where he doesn't have savings for now.
yeah,
Then
if
what
he-
would be?
Very the practical.
Yeah,
most
yeah,
of the
yeah.
people that would be the case. But yeah.
If he is just starting out, he would need a investment of more than a lakh a month, just around a lakh a month, to reach where he's supposed to reach the same 7 crore that he is aiming for.
Got it. So a lakh for investment for financial freedom,
Yeah.
a lakh for expenses as we see on the sheet,
Yeah.
and another lakh probably for all the other goals. If those are not accounted for in the expenses already, but I'm
Yeah.
sure there will be other goals which come up. Hey, that's how life is.
So
There will
somewhere
be
2.5
more
to 3 lakh he have to earn.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I think a common thing which is coming out is your expenses should be nearly 30% of your income.
Yeah.
For the earlier guy also it was something like that.
Correct.
For this person also it's something like that. So I
Correct.
think again the equation you have to play it in a way that either increase your income so that whatever expenses you're having today is 30% of your income, or if your income you cannot increase, then reduce your expenses to a level where your expenses are around or within 30% of your
Yeah,
income.
and maybe for someone who's earning really well, maybe they can optimize it like this. Maybe if their expenses are going to 50% mark, they can reduce it. But like my guy who is 25-year-old, who's very frugal, who's not even earning that much, he's earning just 30,000. His expenses are just 30,000, right? So maybe he can't reduce his expense, the percentage. So the only thing that he could do is, make ways to, earn more. That is the only option for him.
Or reduce expectations
Yeah.
of your retirement life, right?
True, very true.
Expect or plan to have a very frugal life post
Yeah.
retirement. That
Maybe
could also
my
work.
guy wanted to retire at 45. So maybe the practical age for him to retire would be 55.
Correct.
Maybe
and
that's
also
possible.
post retirement maybe have a reduced lifestyle.
Correct.
All of those could also help. So
Absolutely.
again, going back to the fact that this is doable, this
Yeah.
can be worked out. It's all up to who you are and what you need in your life and how do you want to play the game.
Yeah. And two things that I want to add here. One is the inflation rate and the CAGR number that we took, right?
Yeah.
So inflation as well as CAGR is based on past numbers. I know it could change, but considering that we are taking both at the same time, it should be somewhat correct. The answer should be somewhat correct. And the entire goal of our podcast, the entire goal of this discussion is never to demotivate, right? And in fact, even when I saw my number first, I was demotivated, right?
Yeah.
So I think people should be very understanding, very aware of the fact that this number will give you a goalpost, right? And that goalpost will give you a reality check. That reality check will either lead you to increase your income or reduce your expenses.
Yeah.
Right? And control your investment rate also. So with this understanding, you should start playing the game of life.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel you'll end up somewhere which is much better than where you would have ended up if you had no plan at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, while we start moving into the life, things can come in our way. There could be few great things that, help you reach the financial goal much
Yeah.
faster.
Acknowledging the harsh truths.
Absolutely. And then there could be something which slows you down also. So maybe such things also we have to account for.
Yeah, so that's where the other variable in the equation is you. Like
Yeah.
who you are.
Correct.
Like who you are today might not be who you are or who you would be
Correct.
after 10 years, 15 years. Your lifestyle could go up, like way up, or
Yeah.
it could come way down
Yeah.
based on who you are and your thoughts are, your outlook of your life is. So that itself is a huge variable in the equation. And with that variable along with all the other variables, how do you even plan so effectively is it's a question that keeps going on in people's mind.
Yeah, it's just an indication, right? So that's where I believe planning is good. You go along the route that you've set, right? You understand where the goalpost is. You understand what the path you have to take is. You start taking that path. Things might change. Let's hope that it changes for the better. right? Let's hope that you get the boost and not the slowdown that you're expecting in life. And if you have certain check metrics or some safety nets in your life, like proper insurances,
Yeah.
right? Your health insurance is
Correct.
sorted, your term insurance is sorted for your family. I think your journey becomes much more less risky.
Yeah, very true. And this one person I met in my series, which I was conducting on my Telugu channel, right? So there was this guy who actually saved a lot of money. He saved actually 40 lakh rupees. He wanted to retire early, but then unforeseen incident happened in his family where his mother had to undergo a open heart surgery, and that costed him 30 lakh rupees. Including the surgery cost, pre-op, pre-hospital, post-hospitalization cover, and now his dreams are shattered. Now he can't even think of financial freedom. Now he's again back to zero. So that is where all these insurances, planning for future really comes into play, and it is really necessary. And we often, being young, we don't think so much. I see 20-year-old, 30-year-old, even 40-year-old not even planning their future. It is really important. This no school teaches this, no college teaches this financial education, but this is really important for us to understand.
The fact that I like is that the person had a plan.
Yeah.
He made a small mistake in his plan,
Correct.
unfortunately, but he is still very motivated to
Yeah.
get back into the journey, right?
True.
And you guys had that conversation. So I think, yes, life will throw a lot of curveballs at you. I think it's not going to be an easy route, but that indication, still, I believe the indication is good, and that is what we should be aiming for.
So that's
Absolutely.
where we have to fundamentally understand the fact that what we are managing here is not investment. Investment management is just one pillar under wealth management.
Yep.
So what you're planning for, you as a CEO of your life, what you're planning for is your wealth life.
Yeah.
Right?
And-
And the entire personal finance.
Yeah.
And under your wealth management, investment management is just one pillar, which is all about growing your wealth.
Yeah.
Then there is something called risk management. That is where insurance comes
Correct.
in. Then there is tax management.
Yeah.
Then there is estate and future management, which
Correct.
is all about how do you want to pass along your wealth to the next generation.
Yeah.
So wealth has to be managed.
Correct.
It is not about growth. So it's again wrong narrative being said by, again, for influencers and people on the internet that, hey, grow your money, invest your money. It's all about investing and growing.
Yeah.
It's again one pillar. You have to be actively, and maybe equally or more importantly, you have to focus on risk management part of it, which is what is coming out here.
Yeah, and even the expense, which is what the calculator is asking. Expense is also a variable you can control. I want to stress this very, very importantly. Live life the way you want to. I think the conversation started with that, right? YOLO if you want to, but understand, the more you YOLO, the more you're setting a level that you might find harder to come down from.
Yeah.
And the level that you're setting is what you ideally would want to continue into your retirement. That will take your number up. So make sure you're very cognizant of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
because I was mentioning pillars of wealth management, I missed mentioning credit management,
Yeah.
which is all about the loans in your life,
Very
how
true.
well they are taken, how well they are managed. That's also another aspect of wealth management. Because I
Absolutely.
mentioned that, I thought I should just
And
complete it, but
all
yeah.
the millennials and Gen Zs are into financial traps nowadays. Abusing credit cards like anything, and even taking random loans, which they can't repay, so they should be aware of that as well.
So now, before we wrap up, I really want to make the statement, right? I just talked about the pillars of wealth management. Now, wealth management, again, is just one pillar of your life management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you think about your life overall, wealth is just one aspect of it.
And financial freedom itself is one
So
aspect
financial
of it.
freedom, I'm putting under wealth as a
Yeah.
pillar.
Correct.
Then there is a pillar of health.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then there is a pillar of relationship management around you.
Correct.
Then there
Yes.
is a pillar of internal happiness that you can. So there are multiple pillars of your life you can think about, and wealth is just one aspect for it. So while I was saying, when you are trying to optimize for investment management, there are other pillars in wealth management you have to think about. So now, if because of all the discussion about financial freedom and how to plan your wealth nice, don't end up eventually super optimizing for wealth as a pillar a lot.
Yeah.
You are missing out on health, on relationships,
Yeah.
on happiness, on internally who you are. So that should also not happen. So that is where we go back to the first discussion where, hey, is life all about money? And
Yeah.
what is the merit in super optimizing for it? The merit in is actually understanding life is about all these different pillars, and all these will have to be played in a good way, will have to be planned in a good way. Only then eventually all put together, you'll have a holistic, happy, good, satisfied life. So this is how I look at it.
So I think that's where we can wrap up today's episode. A lot of learnings, a lot of harsh realities that people might not be ready to accept, or The other half, I'm sure, would be super motivated, supercharged, seeing that they got the goal that they were searching for
Correct.
till where they have to work.
Yeah.
Right. And since that goalpost is very clear now, they can start taking actions. And as always, we have shared a calculator here. It will be in the description and the pin comment. Do go check it out and check out MarketFeed's trading strategies also, where even this week was really good for us. The financial year for the strategies also ending decently, seeing a uptick towards the end. So that's good to see. So do go check out the link to the workshop that Sharik will be hosting next Wednesday in the description also. So let's wrap up. See you all again in the next episode of the Aftermarket Podcast. Make sure you let us know any and all of your thoughts in the comments down below, because as always, you're the fourth participant here and we always love to read your comments and to improve from there. This is Ajay Ajit signing off. See you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.